Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabina Muhammadin wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Wal la'natu ad-da'ima al-abadiyya ala a'da'ihim ajma'in ila qiyam yawmiddin. Inshallah, we are going to take part 2 of our session. And in this part, we are going to talk about the Umrah, short pilgrimage. If you recall, we mentioned that the Hajj is composed of two things. Umrah al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Tamattu. This is for us who are coming from the west or coming from the far away from Mecca, who lives away from Mecca. This type of Hajj is for them, which is called Hajj al-Tamattu. And Hajj al-Tamattu, you have a Umrah, which is a compulsory thing. You combine the Umrah with the Hajj both together in one season, in 1 year, and that is how it has to be. We are going to talk about the rules of Miqat, Umrah Mufrada, Umrah Tamattu, which is with the Hajj, and rules of Umrah. The Miqats, the Miqat, when Ihram and Talbiyah. The Miqats which are designated, rules of Miqat, rules of Jeddah airport, missing the Miqat unintentionally. The Miqat, Ihram and Labbaik. There are special places designated by sacred Islamic legislator where a person can make an intention of entering the status of Ihram or becoming Muhrim. So there are specified. You cannot become Muhrim from anywhere just the way you want. It has to be from certain places which are designated by the Prophet ﷺ. A person must become Muhrim in one of these places, and these are 9 places depending on the route taken by a traveler proceeding to Mecca. Our focus will be on the one which the travelers from the west might encounter. Travelers from the west arrive in Mecca from these routes: Jeddah airport, and from there either they go direct to Mecca or Medina, and from there they come to Mecca. Therefore, we have 2 options. From Medina, people will be coming Mecca from Medina, or they will be coming from Jeddah. The flight may come flying from above Ta'if, which is also a Miqat. We're going to talk about that the flight might come by Ta'if and then arrive to Jeddah airport. That means you might pass over the Miqat. The Miqats, Dhul Halifa, which is situated near Medina, 7 kilometers from Medina or 427 kilometers from Mecca. It is the Miqat for the people of Medina and all those who wish to perform the pilgrimage traveling from Medina. Obligatory precaution: Ihram should be performed from inside the mosque of tree or Masjid al-Shajara. If it is not possible, then from outside, except for the ladies in menstruation or the like. That means whoever is impure or in the status of impurity. Now, Dhul Halifa is very important Miqat. People coming from Medina, some people they call Abiyar Ali. This is 7 kilometers outside Medina. Once you come out of Medina, the buses will stop and they will perform their Ihram, becomes Muhrim there, and then they proceed to Mecca. And it's 427 kilometers from Mecca, about 4 hours driving time. Of course, if you travel by bus, then it's going to take longer, and especially in the Hajj time, it may take the whole day or half day. It happens like that because of the crowd. Now here, Dhul Halifa or Masjid al-Shajara. Masjid al-Shajara is the Miqat. Masjid al-Shajara is the Miqat. You have to become Muhrim from inside the Masjid al-Shajara on the basis of obligatory precaution. From inside the Masjid, on the basis of obligatory precaution. Yes, if it was difficult, or if a person was in the status of impure which prevents him from entering the mosque, then in that case it is okay to become Muhrim from outside of Masjid al-Shajara. Wadi al-Aqiq, the Miqat for people of Iraq and Najd. Najd is the province of Saudi Arabia, eastern side. It's a big, huge desert. And those passing through there, whoever is coming from northeast of Saudi Arabia, they are going to pass through Najd. They are going to pass through Wadi Aqiq, like people from Iraq and all these people. They are coming from that portion. Juhfa, 204 kilometers from Mecca. The miqat for the people of Syria, Egypt and the west, like people living in the west of Saudi Arabia, and those who pass from there if they have not become muhrim earlier at Dhul Halifa, either with or without excuse. Like for example, if someone did not become muhrim in Masjid al-Shajara, then and he's coming south to Mecca, then the second miqat is Masjid Dhul Halifa, Juhfa. He has to become muhrim there. It's half of the way from Medina to Mecca. Of course, the route is different, but if you look exactly, we are going to show you in the map, it is half of the way almost. So, and people arriving from Jeddah, many times they go to Juhfa. They go up north and they come down. Yalamlam, 94 kilometers from Mecca, the miqat for people of Yemen coming from south, and those who pass from there. It is the name of a mountain. Miqats continued. Qarn al-Manazil, it is for people of Ta'if and people coming from the east. People coming from the east, the miqat for people of Ta'if and all those who pass through that route. Insofar as the last four miqats, the number 2 to 5, are concerned, the miqats are not limited to the mosques only, but all that which comes under the banner of these places is so considered. So the issue here is Masjid al-Shajara, the miqat of people of Medina and coming from north, that's the mosque where you have to become the miqat from inside the mosque. But if all these other miqat, Qarn al-Manazil, Yalamlam, Juhfa, it's not necessary to become from inside the mosque. Even outside of the mosque is okay, as long as, even not in the beside the mosque, as long as you are becoming muhrim from a place which is called, which is said that this is Qarn al-Manazil, or this is what they say, Yalamlam or Juhfa, then it shouldn't be a problem. Let's look at this map and see the miqat which we spoke. Where are they located? So this is Mecca, and if we go to left hand side, this is Jeddah, and if we go to north, this is Medina, and see just beside that the small spot is called Dhul Halifa. Dhul Halifa, and then we have this Juhfa south, and see the route of Medina Mecca is straight, but if you are going to go Juhfa, then you are going to take the route to Jeddah, because Juhfa is almost parallel to Jeddah. We are going to talk about this. See, and then we have Dhatu Irqin. This is for people coming from northwest, Dhatu Irq, and then we have Qarnul Manazil, people coming from east, and then we have Yalamlam, Mount of Yalamlam, people coming from south, and Yemen. Now, just focus on this point because we are going to explain. Look at Jeddah and Juhfa. This is very important issue. Jeddah and Juhfa, are they in straight line or no? Jeddah is before Juhfa or Jeddah is after Juhfa. A, B, C. Either Jeddah is before Juhfa, if we put a straight line from north to south, or Jeddah is after Juhfa, or Jeddah is in the same line of Juhfa, same horizontal line, or same vertical line, same latitude, same vertical line. Now, this is another example, another important issue. Many times what happens nowadays, we don't go by camels and we go by air usually, or by car. So if you come by car, then all those rules implemented on camels will be implemented on cars. But what if we go by air? Then we have a different issue. The airplane sometimes passes to the miqat. The pilot announces that we are passing to the miqat. Kindly make your ihram or intention of ihram. People, they are ready. They have worn their attire of ihram. They are ready to make the intention of ihram. What happens here? The pilot announces. Now imagine the airplane is flying 500 miles per hour. In this miqat area, the city or the town of miqat is barely 5 miles, 5 miles, 3 miles. Imagine if this plane, which is going 500 miles per hour, that means it's traveling like in 1 minute it may go very fast, 560 minutes, let's say 600 miles per hour, just to make approximate number. That means we remove one number, and that means it's going to travel 60 miles in 6 minutes. 60 miles, remove 1 0 from 60, which is 60 minutes, and so it's going to travel 10 miles per minute. In 1 minute is going to go 10 miles. So when the pilot announces we are flying over miqat, it's like you barely have enough time, like 10 miles in 1 minute, 5 miles in half a minute. So you have to say labbaik Allahumma labbaik labbaik sharika, something like that, in order to just, because you are parallel to the miqat. And how exactly parallel to the miqat you are? The plane is flying so fast. So you barely can, especially if you are going to make with nether, which we are going to talk inshallah, nether, you will say nether, you will say, but of course if you are exactly parallel, you don't have to say nether. But are you in the parallel? No. That's why it's a precaution to say nether, ihram with nether, like by making a vow, I'm making, by God, I'm going to make myself muhrim in this place, in this moment, now. But you cannot do like that and then say I am becoming muhrim inside your heart for Umrah al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Islam, wujub al-Qurbat Allah Ta'ala, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wal ni'mata laka wal mulk. You are done. The plane is gone away from the miqat. That's not practical. So basically, that is not practical. So basically, what happens here, that you have to become muhrim before the plane arrives to the point parallel to the miqat. If the plane stops on the miqat area exactly, like it pauses, yes, you can become muhrim without nether. That's what we are going to explain in this mas'ala, that you can become muhrim anywhere. If you are not going through miqat, you are passing to a place which is parallel to the miqat, then you can become muhrim from that place. So therefore, for these people who are flying, they have to become muhrim before they arrive this point, and they have to make their nether. Basically, the pilot announces that half an hour, 20 minutes, but just before the arrival to Jeddah airport, calculate your times, become muhrim by nether before you pass through the miqat. Miqas. The proximity of any of the above quoted miqats. If a person takes a route which does not cross any of the said miqats, he must become muhrim from any place which is parallel to the miqat. That is to say, a place at which, when he faces the holy Kaaba, one of the miqats would be to his right or left. And when he proceeds from the point to Mecca, from that point to Mecca, the miqat would be behind him. So let's say this is Mecca. A person is not coming through the miqat. Let's say this is Qarn al-Manazil, flights which are coming from Dubai, from the east. So they are coming from Dubai, they are or people coming from Dubai. Anyhow, this is Mecca, and this is the miqat. People coming. When they come to the miqat, of course on the flight they will be above. But let's say people driving, they're driving to Mecca, and they come to a point where if they face Mecca, the miqat will be at the right or at the left hand side. The miqat will be either at the left. So this is Mecca. This is Mecca. The people driving coming here. Miqat is, for example, here. So when people are passing through the miqat, Mecca is in front. So miqat is in either right or left. So it is parallel. So they can become muhrim from that point which is parallel to the miqat. They can become muhrim from that point which is parallel to the miqat. We're going to show you in the map. From that, without nether. So how can we become muhrim? 3 ways. From the miqat, or a point parallel to the miqat, or before the miqat or the point parallel to the miqat by nether. 3 ways. It's very important. If your ihram is not correct, we have a problem there. Again, you become muhrim from the miqat. Miqats are those which we mentioned. For Umrah al-Tamattu, especially for us, which we are traveling to the Middle East from far away, our duty is Umrah al-Tamattu. And Miqat of Umrah al-Tamattu are these designated places which we mentioned. So either you become, again I'm repeating because it's very important, either we become muhrim from the miqat, or we become muhrim from a point parallel to the miqat. That means Mecca is in front of us and miqat is either right or either left, from any direction. Mecca is north of us and we are traveling north, miqat is either right or left. And the same thing is from the other side. So this is the case of the miqat. So miqat, you become muhrim, you have to become muhrim from the miqat. We explained the procedure of ihram in last session. So either you become muhrim from the miqat, for people coming from west, either Medina, Masjid al-Shajara, tree of mosque, or mosque of tree, or Juhfa. Either they come from Jeddah, they go Juhfa, or they are coming from Medina, they go to Masjid al-Shajara. So either Masjid al-Shajara, either Juhfa. Or if they are coming from east, then their miqat is Ta'if. Like many people, they travel from Emirates Airlines, Gulf Air, Pakistan Airline, all those who are coming from east, they are passing through Ta'if. So these are the 3 points which we need to focus coming from the west, either from Masjid al-Shajara, we are coming from Medina, either we are coming from Jeddah, that means Juhfa is our miqat, we have to go north to Juhfa, or Ta'if, which is if we are coming from the east. And of course, if we arrive on Jeddah airport, then we have 2 options, Ta'if or Jeddah, Ta'if or Juhfa. It is sufficient to use common consideration to determine if one has reached such point. It is not necessary to take exact measurements. Like, do I need to exactly micro-milli or millimeter or centimeter or by feet and inches? No. As long as it is said in common consideration that you have reached a point which is parallel to the miqat, that's enough. And that's very easy. That makes our life easier, because many times it's very difficult to pinpoint and we are going to see our Jeddah situation. So if we look at the map, we have Mecca, we have Jeddah on the east, on the west, on our left hand side, Qarn al-Manazil on our right, Yalamlam south, Medina. Our focus, let's focus on 3 things. This Medina, Jeddah and Qarn al-Manazil. So suppose if we are going to come by air from Medina, then we have these 3 situations. Either we become muhrim in Masjid al-Shajara and then go back to the airport, or either we become muhrim on that by nazar before the Masjid al-Shajara, and then, because Masjid al-Shajara situation is much more tough. We said that miqat are about like maybe 2-3 miles, those areas. Masjid al-Shajara is masjid, which is half a mile masjid, less than half a mile. So imagine the airplane, and the airplane is flying from Medina airport. It will be still in the going into the heights, and here it will pass by Masjid al-Shajara. So imagine how fast the airplane is and how fast you are passing that area. And you are not exactly on Masjid al-Shajara. Once you come Masjid al-Shajara, you are passed by it. So it is not advisable to become muhrim inside the airplane while coming from Medina. Many people, they come from Medina by air to Jeddah and then come to Mecca. So it's not advisable. If you really want to come by air from Medina to Mecca, then become muhrim from Medina airport by nazar before the miqat. We mentioned 3 things: either from the miqat, either from the point parallel to the miqat, or from the place before the miqat or the point parallel to the miqat by nazar. So that's the best option we have here. Another thing is when we come to Qarn al-Manazil. Again, Qarn al-Manazil, there was a debate that is it Ta'if or not. So suppose, this is a rule of thumb, whenever you doubt you are in the miqat or not, become muhrim by nadhr. Become muhrim by nadhr, because the government has changed the locations of some miqat. So many ulamas, they used to come like before 30, 40 years. When they noticed the changes, they realize that there's a big change. It's not the same place. It's not the things, and they come continuously every year. So suddenly they see that miqat has changed, and they do investigation. So there are ulama, they think that some of the miqats have been changed, the locations. Therefore, if the area is called Qarn al-Manazil, then you can become muhrim there. The masjid is not necessary. The area is important. But if it's not, then by nadhr. So these are the miqats. So how can we become parallel? Like for example, if I'm coming, let's say from Jeddah, like from west, my airplane is coming. See this red airplane is coming from here, from Red Sea. I'm flying over this name which is written Jeddah. Now, if I am in a point which is, because this map might not necessarily be accurate, if you want to check it out with an accurate map. Look out that this Juhfa, is it parallel to Jeddah, or is it before Jeddah, or is it after Jeddah? I'm not going to rely on this map. In this map, it is before Jeddah. What does that mean? That means when I arrive Jeddah, see the Juhfa, Al-Juhfa in north of Jeddah, that is the miqat. So if I'm arriving Jeddah, I have three options, A, B, C. If the miqat, see Al-Juhfa is before, if we stretch a line from Juhfa to Jeddah, Juhfa, if based on this map, Juhfa is before Jeddah. So what happens? You can become muhrim by nadhr in the airplane. Remember, if you are going to become muhrim before arriving, before passing the miqat, or the before miqat, or before the point parallel to the miqat, the point parallel to the miqat will be in the air while you are flying. So you have to become muhrim where? In the air by nadhr, before arriving that point, because you will pass by that point very fast. So before you arrive Jeddah airport, half an hour, 45 minutes, just become muhrim. Just become muhrim by nadhr. Remember the nadhr, it's important. You don't become muhrim by nadhr, kiss your ihram goodbye. So initially you are, based on this map, of course, based on this map, Juhfa is parallel, Juhfa is before Jeddah. Suppose if you find out a map which was accurate, and in that map Juhfa is almost parallel to Jeddah, that means Jeddah is parallel to a miqat. So if that's the case, if you find out, I'm talking if and then statement, please observe. If you find out that Jeddah is parallel to Juhfa, because you are planning to go Mecca, you're not planning to go Medina. So people planning to go from Jeddah to Mecca, they need to become muhrim. They need to become muhrim one of the three ways. If Juhfa is before, if Juhfa is before Jeddah, if Juhfa is before Jeddah, before that line, that means you have to become muhrim in the airplane. Since the plane is going to fly so fast, before you arrive to that point which is considered miqat, parallel to the miqat, become muhrim by nadhr. A. It's easy. A, B, C. Maybe my repetition might create confusion, but I'll summarize it. So number one, become muhrim from a point parallel to Juhfa before arriving Jeddah, but since it's so fast, become muhrim before that point by nadhr. This is option number one. Option number two, which you were mentioning, suppose Juhfa, Jeddah, they are both in same line. Here, what will happen? You become muhrim by in Jeddah airport. You arrive Jeddah airport. Why? Because Jeddah, if Jeddah is a point which is parallel to the miqat, then you can become muhrim from Jeddah. And we mentioned exact accuracy, that point to point, feet to feet is not necessary. The common consideration, if they are considered, that's why some maraja say you can become muhrim from Jeddah airport. From Jeddah airport, they have showers, they have places to change. It's all prepared. This Madinatul Hujjaj, the airport of Hujjaj, for the Hajis. This is especially they have. So some maraja say Jeddah is parallel to the miqat. In that case, if I'm saying if, follow your marja. Or no, not don't follow your marja, follow the reality, because marja was given facts and figures. So if you are following a marja who says Jeddah is not, find out, investigate. If you get a knowledge that Jeddah is parallel to the miqat, then you can become muhrim from Jeddah airport without nadhar. If you are doubting, become muhrim before arrival of Jeddah by nadhar. So point A, I'm repeating, this is a repetition, I'm repeating. Point A, if Juhfa was before Jeddah and your point in the airplane was parallel to Juhfa before arriving, become muhrim by nadhar before arriving to that point, because the flight is fast. Number two, if Jeddah is parallel, with some of the maraja, they say you check it out by yourself. You check it out by yourself. If you're in this issue, you have to double check yourself, because this is a geographical issue. The marja has been given information, he gave fatwa based on that. But if you find out that the information is incorrect, then you have to follow your information and implement the fatwa of your marja, because you take the fatwa from your marja. The practical positions is your responsibility. Marja helps you if you don't know based on the information he was given. So now in this case, your marja tells you that the Jeddah is parallel, and you find out that yes, Jeddah is parallel to Juhfa, then you can become muhrim from Jeddah, because it's a point parallel to the miqat, because you are facing the Kaaba, facing Mecca, and Juhfa is on your left hand side, it's on north, on your left hand. Jeddah, Juhfa, Mecca. So it's a perfect criteria for the point parallel to the miqat. Number C, which is what? Which is Jeddah is before miqat. Jeddah is before miqat. Number A was Jeddah was after miqat. We had to become muhrim in the airplane or by nadhar before coming to that point parallel to the miqat. Number two, Jeddah was same. Number three, Jeddah is after. Jeddah is before, I'm sorry. Jeddah is before that point parallel to the miqat. In this case, what will happen? You will become muhrim from Jeddah by nadhar, or drive to a place while going to Mecca, drive to a place where it's parallel to the miqat, become muhrim there. Become muhrim there without nadhar, because it's a point parallel to miqat. So I'm done with this. A, B, C. People coming Jeddah, to Mecca through Jeddah airport. Through Jeddah, they have only three options. Memorize this, learn this, write it down. If Jeddah is, if Juhfa, if the point parallel to Juhfa is before Jeddah, then you become muhrim in the airplane in that point, or before that point by nadhar. If Jeddah is parallel to that, parallel to Juhfa, Jeddah is a point by itself parallel to Juhfa, become muhrim from Jeddah airport. If Jeddah is before a point parallel to Juhfa, then either you go to that point and become muhrim there while going Makkah, change, shower, whatever, do the ghusl, or become muhrim from Jeddah airport by nadhar. These are the three cases, A, B, C. If you did not understand, review the tape and try to listen it several times until you get the idea, because this is very important. Many people, they make mistakes in this point and their ihram becomes invalid. So inshallah, let's move on to another point. Miqats. If a person takes a route on which he reaches a place which becomes parallel to two miqats, it is recommended precaution to become muhrim on the first of such two places. If you're passing, you're coming from north, you will pass to a point, Masjid al-Shajara, Medina, but not passing through Medina, passing to a point parallel, and then you will pass to Juhfa also. So it's recommended precaution to become from the first miqat or first point you pass. Now we come to the miqat of people of Mecca, or when we have done our Umrah al-Tamattu', we are preparing for Hajj, we are going to perform the miqat. The miqat for Hajj al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Qiran, Hajj al-Ifrad for the residents of Mecca and its neighborhood, regardless of whether or not their obligation has shifted to the residents of Mecca. As we mentioned, Meccans, they don't have Hajj al-Tamattu or Umrah al-Tamattu. Their responsibility is Hajj al-Ifrad, Hajj al-Iqran. Different types of Hajj, you don't need to know it now. In some cases, a person who is doing Tamattu might have to convert his Hajj for some reasons. Those you can refer to your scholar available there, or refer to the books of Manasik al-Hajj, when especially women, sometimes they might need to convert their Hajj to Hajj al-Ifrad because of their circumstances. As a matter of precaution, one should become muhrim at a place within the area considered as a part of old Mecca at the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, although it is permissible to become muhrim in one of the new places recently built, except those which fall outside of the haram. We're going to talk about this point in the rules of Hajj, Manasik al-Hajj, because in Hajj, ihram of Hajj is from Mecca. Some ulama, they say it's obligatory precaution or it's wajib to become muhrim from inside old Mecca. Some ulama say no, it's recommended precaution. Whatever is considered commonly Mecca, then you can become muhrim from there for Hajj, of course. We are not talking about Umrah. Mecca is a miqat for people performing Hajj al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Qiran, Hajj al-Ifrad. For the Hajj itself, you become muhrim from inside Mecca. And then we have Adna al-Hil. These are borders of Haram. Remember the sacred land? Mina, Muzdalifah and Mecca. Haram is a sacred land. Sacred land, there are borders. So suppose if you are in Mecca and you want to perform Umrah al-Mufradah, which is an Umrah which is recommended the whole year. If you want to perform that kind of Umrah, then you perform it from Adna al-Hil, like Hudaybiyah, Ju'rana, Tan'im. It is the miqat of Umrah al-Mufradah, and Umratul Mufradah or Umratul Mufradah by those in Mecca. So it is not permissible to become muhrim before the designated miqat, or even passing without becoming muhrim, passing by it without becoming muhrim, except in two cases. What are these two cases? These two cases are by nadhr or by for Umrah of Rajab. Umrah of Rajab. What is this Umrah of Rajab? Many people, they arrive, suppose if somebody wanted to have this fadila, this thawab, this highly recommended thawab in performing Umrah al-Mufradah in Rajab, the individual Umrah. We're going to talk briefly about it because many Hujjaj, they perform Umrah al-Mufradah. So if you are going to perform Umrah al-Mufradah there in Rajab, suppose your flight left 29th of Rajab and moon was sighted. That next day is Sha'ban. Or it was 30th and your flight was delayed, and you'll arrive there in the first Sha'ban. So here you can make the intention of ihram and labbaik from wherever you are. This is an exceptional case only, just for a person to get the fadila or the reward of the Umrah in the month of Rajab. So these are the two exceptional cases. This is important. Ihram by making a vow. If the pilgrim is unable to specify the exact place, he can become muhrim by making a vow, nadhr, before reaching the miqat or a point parallel to the miqat. Whenever there is a doubt in the miqat or the exact location of it, then a person can become muhrim by nadhr. If a pilgrim had made a vow to become muhrim before the miqat, and on the contrary he becomes muhrim after the miqat, his ihram will be valid. However, he must pay penalty for violating his vow if he did so purposely. It is not permissible to become muhrim after passing the miqat. It is not permissible for a person who intends to perform a pilgrimage or umrah to enter the haram or Mecca or to pass by the miqat by choice. Like he cannot pass by the miqat by choice without becoming muhrim there, even if there is another miqat ahead. You have to become your muhrim on your first miqat if you are passing by the miqat. The previous mas'ala we mentioned, if you had two options, that was a point which is parallel to the Masjid al-Shajara, and then you will travel straight a point which is parallel, not the miqat, to a point parallel to Masjid al-Shajara, parallel to Juhfa. You can become muhrim on the point parallel to Juhfa, but by recommended precaution, become muhrim on the point parallel to Masjid al-Shajara, the first one. But yes, if you are passing on two miqats, your car is going from Masjid al-Shajara and then to Juhfa and then Mecca. No, you have to become muhrim in Masjid al-Shajara. So even if there is another miqat, missing the miqat unintentionally. What happens if you miss the miqat? We have two cases. You miss the miqat intentionally, you don't become muhrim there. There is no way you can become muhrim there. You cannot come back to become muhrim. Kiss your Hajj goodbye. Kiss your Umrah goodbye. You have to come back next year and perform. If you are not able to correct your mistake, then your ihram is invalid. If that was intentionally. Unintentionally, let's take the rule of unintentionally first. If someone misses the miqat unintentionally, he didn't know. He passed. He was waiting for the pilot to announce, and the pilot he slept in the plane. Many times people, they unintentionally, they are waiting and they just sleep. He slept. He woke up. They were arriving to Jeddah airport. Oh my goodness, this guy passed the point parallel to the miqat. Or he was in Jeddah airport, he forgot to become muhrim because he was busy in so many other things, taking care of his family, relatives. He forgot to become muhrim. Somehow, unintentionally, by not knowing, forgetfulness, any kind of situation, excuse, he did not become muhrim. The whole idea is go back to those designated, not Adna al-Hil, not the miqat surrounding Mecca. That's for Umrah al-Mufrada only. Umrah al-Tamattu', go back to one of those designated miqat for Umrah al-Tamattu'. Juhfa, Qarn al-Manazil. Go back to the point which is parallel. If you cannot go back to the miqat, go to a point where you are parallel to one of the miqats. Because we said either miqat, point parallel to miqat, or by another. If not, then you become muhrim. Go as far as you can going towards Mecca, because many times it happens with us. They don't allow you to exit Mecca. Once you are in, they take your passports. You are in siege. You are in siege. You cannot exit Mecca. If you are national of Persian Gulf, yes, or you are muqawil or a caravan leader, you have a pass they give you as a caravan leader, you go out and come in, that's something else. Or you are citizen of Saudi Arabia. But if you are foreigner coming just for the Hajj, then you cannot exit Mecca. So what happens that if you are going, the police will stop you. Where is your passport? You don't have passport because your passports are with the government. So you don't have the passports with you. So in that case, you cannot exit Mecca. If you don't exit Mecca, if you cannot exit, so drive as far as you can. If you arrive at that point and they stop you, they don't let you, then become muhrim there. And as a precaution, just become muhrim by nadhr there. So maybe that point might be parallel to a point, or maybe that might not be, or maybe that point might be before a point parallel to miqat. Anyhow, whenever you have doubt, just become muhrim by nadhr. So to a point where the farthest point you can reach, become muhrim. This is what we are going to say. There are 4 cases for a person who forgot the ruling, or forgot to become muhrim, or did not know the ruling, or did not know the location, or lost his conscience. Then in this case, whether he entered Mecca or the Haram, or he is in his way to the one of them, either he's going to Mecca or he's entered Haram, whatever, he must return to miqat of Umrat al-Tamattu'. That's must. You have to go back. If you came from Juhfa, go back to Juhfa. If you came from Masjid Shajara, go back to Masjid Shajara. But most of the time it's not easy. And this person was unintentionally. He did not do it purposely or deliberately. He must return to the miqat of tamattu. Number 2, if he cannot exit the haram, the sacred land, and go as far as he can towards the miqat and become muhrim there. So if he cannot, then exit the haram. Then exit the haram, sacred land, and go as far as he can towards the miqat and become muhrim there. If he cannot exit the haram, then he should perform his ihram from wherever he is, even if he had entered Mecca. So what can we do? If he had not, if he cannot go out of the haram, if he cannot go to the miqat, if he cannot go to the out of haram, to the farthest point, if he cannot go out of haram, if he's in Mecca, he cannot go out of Mecca, just become muhrim from wherever you are. If not, see, you have to try your best to go to the miqat and become muhrim. If you are able to go miqat and you did not go miqat, you did not try even, then your ihram is invalid, as you have unintentionally left the ihram or abandoned the ihram. However, if the pilgrim arrives in Jeddah with the intention to proceed one of the miqats or one of its parallels, and he could not make it, he arrived Jeddah, he wanted to go where? To one of those points, either go back to the point to the miqat or a point parallel to the miqat. He had this intention. Somehow many times it's difficult. You cannot even exit the airport. The airport is fenced. When you leave the airport, there's a police with you. He has all your passports. He enters Mecca, he surrenders those passports and to the government agency there and leaves you. So you don't have any passport with you. You cannot travel. These are like two locations from Jeddah. Jeddah Hujjaj airport is fenced airport. It's like a prison area, but of course they have their reasons to keep that area like that, because many people, they come for Hajj and they go and get the jobs there. Anyhow, so it's a fenced airport. So you come out of the airport. So you had an intention. You didn't know this, that inshallah I'll arrive Jeddah airport and then after that I'll go to the miqat. You arrive there, you are surprised. They take your passport, they put you in the bus and they take you into Mecca. Oh, I want to become muhrim. So what can you do? You can become muhrim there by nazar from Jeddah airport. However, if the pilgrim arrives in Jeddah with the intention to proceed to one of the miqats or one of its parallels, and he could not make it for some reasons, he is permitted to become muhrim with a nazar there. A person purposely does not become muhrim from the miqat, then he must go back and become muhrim there. And if he is not able to do so, then kiss your Hajj goodbye. Then his Hajj is invalid and must redo it in his next year. The obligatory acts of Umrah al-Mufrada. Remember, we mentioned that many times Hujjaj, they come to Mecca, they want to perform Umrah al-Mufrada. Many times they perform Umrah al-Mufrada before the first Umrah they do, because they arrive in Dhul Qa'ad. So they do their Umrah in Dhul Qa'ad. Umrah al-Mufrada, because it's recommended to do Umrah al-Mufrada the whole time of year. So they do the Umrah al-Mufrada in Dhul Qa'ad. Then what happens? They go back to one of the miqats, or they go to Medina, and from Medina, while coming back, they do their Umrah al-Tamattu' in Masjid al-Shajara, and they come to Mecca. Many times, many of them, they do Umrah al-Mufrada after the Manasik al-Hajj. After the 12th day, when they pelt the shaitan, they are done from the 12th of Dhul Hajj. They have few days they are living in Mecca, they can perform Umrah al-Mufrada. We are going to talk about that you cannot perform 2 Umrahs in one lunar month on behalf of yourself. It has to be with different intention. Yes, you can perform on behalf of your father, on behalf of your mother, on behalf of your grandfather, whoever gifted to the 12th Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. So basically, you can perform Umrahs, as many you can, but on your behalf, no. That's why those people, they come Dhul Qa'ad in Mecca, they perform Umrah al-Mufrada and they go to Medina. And after, when they are coming from Medina in Dhul Hajj, it's a different month, next month then. But those people who want to perform Umrah after the Manasik al-Hajj, it's difficult because they had already performed Umrah al-Tamattu'. Yes, if they had performed Umrah al-Tamattu' in Dhul Qa'ad, then yes, they can perform Umrah al-Mufrada in Dhul Hajj after the Manasik al-Hajj, as long as both the Umrahs are in different two lunar months. Yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The main thing is perform Umrah on your behalf of your family, your father, mother. Why? Because the whole idea behind it to get the great thawab of Umrah. So if you perform Umrah on behalf of somebody else, 90% of the reward you get, and 10% of the reward goes to the person you did the Umrah on behalf of them. So the obligatory acts of Umrah Mufrada. Umrah Mufrada is, again, Ihram, becoming Muhrim, not wearing the Ihram, becoming Muhrim. You have to wear the Ihram before. Becoming Muhrim, I am becoming Muhrim for Umrah al-Mufrada. And then you lock your Ihram. Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, 4 labbaiks. And then you do tawaf around the Kaaba, and then 2 rakat of tawaf behind Maqam Ibrahim, and then walk between Safa and Marwa, and then unlock your Ihram by cutting some hair. And then what happens? Do the tawaf around the Kaaba, tawafun nisa, tawaf of women. This tawafun nisa is for women, to allow their husbands to have the lustful desires with them, and for the husbands to have with their women the lustful desires. So both men and women, they both perform this tawafun nisa, tawaf of women, which is to allow both of them to have this lustful desires between the halal lustful desires between themselves. So this is manasik of Umrah. Yes, but after tawaf al-nisa, there is 2 rakat. Whenever tawaf, 2 rakat tawaf behind Maqam Ibrahim. That's rule of thumb. So these are, let's go through them quickly. Ihram, making a covenant or a commitment or a promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you will avoid 25 things. Talbiyah, locking the commitment. Circumambulation, tawaf. Salat of tawaf. Sa'i, the walk between the Mount Safa and Mount Marwa. And taqsir, unlocking the ihram by cutting off some hair. Tawaf of women, and salat of tawaf of women. Now let's see the difference between, because we are going to perform Umrah al-Tamattu'. Let's see the difference between Umrah al-Tamattu' and Umrah al-Mufrada. Tawaf of women, we don't have tawaf of nisa in. Let's look at this chart, it's easier. Umrah, we have Mufrada and Tamattu'. Tawaf al-Nisa, tawaf of women, we have to perform in Umrah al-Mufrada. Umrah al-Tamattu', which is a part of Hajj, no, it's delayed after the manasik of Hajj. Time, any time in the year except between Umrah, any time in the year except between the Umrah al-Tamattu' and Hajj al-Tamattu'. Any time in the year. But once you perform Umrah al-Tamattu', you have to stay in Mecca until 9th Dhul Hajj. You cannot perform Hajj in that between. You cannot perform Umrah al-Mufrada in that time. Umrah al-Tamattu', no, only in Shawwal, Dhul Qa'ad, Dhul Hajj, the months of Hajj, when you enter Mecca to perform the pilgrimage of Tamattu', the Hajj al-Tamattu'. Umrah al-Mufrada, you can unlock your ihram for male by taqsir or complete shave. Umrah al-Tamattu', the Umrah al-Mufrada by taqsir or complete shave. Umrah al-Tamattu', no, you cannot shave. You keep the shave for Hajj. You cannot shave your head, only taqsir. Relation with the Hajj, not necessary. For Umrah al-Mufrada, it's not necessary in the same year, because Hajj al-Ifrad, you can perform Hajj al-Ifrad independently in 1 year, and Umrah al-Mufrada 1 year before, after, it doesn't matter, as long as you perform 1 Umrah in your life and 1 Hajj in your life. Umrah al-Tamattu', no, both must be in the month of Hajj, same year, Umrah al-Tamattu' and Hajj al-Tamattu', which we are going to perform. Miqat, the near ones, suffice it if from Mecca. If you are in Mecca, then you just have to go Adna al-Hil, closest place to Mecca, which is Ju'rana, Hudaybiyah, Tan'im. You become Muhrim there. But Umrah al-Tamattu', no, the distant ones, you have to go back. You have to become Muhrim there in Juhfa, Yalamlam, Qarn al-Manazil, and all the Masjid al-Shajara, or a place, a point parallel to that point or before that point by Nadhr. Umrah, a requirement to enter Mecca. It's like a visa. Umrah is like a visa. Anyone who wants to enter Mecca must perform Umrah al-Mufrada or Umrah al-Tamattu' if entering Mecca for Hajj al-Tamattu'. The validity of one Umrah is for 1 month. After one entrance, after 1 month of his previous ihram, a person can enter and exit frequently in Mecca without ihram. So in order to enter Mecca, you have to become muhrim. So if you have entered Mecca with an ihram, then you can exit Mecca, come in, out for 1 month. It's the validity. 1 month. If 1 month ends, you have to renew. If you are going out of Mecca, when you come in, you have to come in a new ihram. For one ihram is enough for 1 month. Those workers who most frequently enter and exit Mecca, such as the cab drivers or taxi drivers, are exempted from this rule. Of course, I mean, every month a taxi driver will become muhrim. It will be difficult for them. After performing Umrah al-Tamattu', one must not exit Mecca. Umrah al-Tamattu' is different. When you perform Umrah al-Tamattu', you cannot come out of Mecca, except for those who are caravan leaders, and they know their rules. But for a regular Hajji, you cannot come out of Mecca unless if it was necessary. It was really necessary. Other than that, optionally, don't get out of Mecca after performing Umrah al-Tamattu'. Umrah al-Mufrada we mentioned, it's 1 month, one Umrah per month. Once you have done, you can go out, come in, go out, as long as 1 month is there. And 1 month ends, if you are out, you are coming back, you need a new ihram. If a person enters with Umrah al-Mufrada in the month of Hajj and stays in Mecca until the day of Hajj, he can convert his Mufrada to Tamattu'. Suppose if a person entered in the months of Hajj, in Shawwal or Dhul Qa'ad, and he was planning to come out and perform Umrah al-Tamattu'. He had entered Mecca with Umrah al-Mufrada, the regular Umrah. And he had intention that he will come out, but for some reasons he was not able to come out from Mecca and he was stuck there. In this case, we'll tell him, you can convert your Umrah al-Mufrada to Umrah al-Tamattu'. No problem in that. One Umrah per lunar month. A person cannot perform more than one Umrah for the same person with the same intention in one lunar month. There is no condition that says that they have to be separated by 30 days. As a result, if one Umrah is performed in 29th of the month, the other can be performed on the 1st of the next month. If both Umrahs were for different individuals, like one of them, like one for him and other for his father, or both were for different persons, then it is acceptable. Therefore, a person can perform as many Umrahs as he wants in 1 month, as long as they are for different individuals. As an obligatory precaution, the same ruling is for performing Umrah of Hajj, Umrah al-Tamattu', and Umrah al-Mufrada in 1 lunar month for the same individual. Wa akhiru da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi at-tahirin.